Hey guys, welcome back to Love is Strange, and we're gonna continue with the Chloe route. I'm gonna find the right one here. Playing a balancing act of thinking about Chloe and getting ready for class is even harder than I thought it would be. While I bombed, she'll be cutting class and I won't be able to see her. It's not as though it's the first time she's ever done it. Also, I'm kind of glad to be lined up as the person she comes back to at the end of the day. Keeps me feeling significant. Even though I know it's probably poor planning to let the contest take a day off when we only have 3 contest days on, I think it's a good idea to have some time for Chloe and I to just focus on each other. Plus, if she's going to be busy for most of the day, that gives me a bit to plan for the photo in the meantime. And for what I want to do for Chloe today. I think I'd like to have something to give her, some kind of memorabilia to remind her of Arcadia Bay, or of me. For a moment that makes me smile, the idea of White Knight Chloe receiving a token from her lady fair before setting off on her grand Arthurian journey. Then I catch myself. Geez, schoolgirl crush much, Max? I shake my head, push that more than semi-worrying thought out of my mind for now, and focus on thinking of a gift Chloe might like. After spending a couple of seconds looking around my room, I come up with what I think are 3 Chloe options. Oh. Mixtape. Was Chloe the one who got Max a mixtape when they were young? It was just perfect. Mixtape, definitely. Yes. Chloe does love to rock out. And like she can even listen to it when she's on the road. Ah, it's so sweet. And she's going to be spending a lot of time in that car. Yep, exactly. I know her music taste well enough by now to pull together a playlist I think she'd like. Something to keep her awake and eager on the road. Maybe I can also slip in some songs I've been trying to get her to listen to. Oh my god, you're gonna play her a song? Cause Max can play a guitar. Maybe she can sing too. Even if she's not crazy about them, it'll at least be a way to have her thinking of me. But hopefully in a, oh man, Max, my musically talented best friend who I miss so much, not in a geez, what kind of loser puts 3 acoustic tracks right into each other way? I can probably make one after class, maybe do a cover to go along with it. Sounds like a plan. What's really important is making this day about Chloe. I want her to feel like I'm supporting her decision, not holding her back. It's hard, walking the balance of knowing I'm really going to miss her and being happy for her, knowing she's doing what she wants to do. Chloe deserves the world and more, but I just hope her happy ending isn't one where we're apart. Mine definitely isn't. Her getting ready to leave is starting to make me really realize that. I'm starting to think I should have put that into words before this week. Just as I'm running the risk of riding the train back all the way into Mopesville, though my phone beeps. Luckily too, because apparently I only have 2 minutes to get to class. I hurriedly shrug my bag over my shoulder, scrolling through my text with my other hand. Looks like I'll be free around 4. What? That work for you? My schedule is totally clear. I'm at your beck and call. Intriguing. Gonna give you a hint about this surprise thing or what? Well, I think you'll like it. Dude, of course I'm gonna like it. More specific. Nope. I wanna watch you shiver with ecstasy. You're lucky I love you because you're a pain in the ass. Just finish the damn... Whatever, okay, I'll see you at 4. Also, Max, thanks for doing this. I know you're busy with the contest and school and stuff. It's great. It's great to be able to hang out with you still. I'm glad we can. Pay anticipation. Oh yeah, of course. Nothing but the best for my BFF. Yeah. See you later. Don't be 18 for the date. Oh, don't be... I didn't say 18. Don't be late for the date. No emoji! I'm gonna start charging you for those, I swear. I end up skidding into Mr. Dark's class 3 minutes late, but even the darkest of Victoria's glares can't wipe the stupid grin off my face. Oh, we're at the same place where we went to Kate. With Kate. We're at the same place where we went with Kate. It's 10 minutes to 4 and I'm actually starting to hope I can rely Chloe's chronic lateness. I ended up getting to the boardwalk later than I expected, scrambling to get my work done for class tomorrow and getting caught up in brainstorming for the contest. In the end, I just decided to text Chloe asking if she would mind meeting up here. She's the one with a truck after all. And it's faster than Blackwell's bus, even if its upkeep is even if its upkeep is similarly doubtful. I dare you to say that to my truck's face. But okay, I will meet you at Boardwalk. It's so atmospheric here too, it's hard to stay focused. All the bright colors of storefronts and the soft sound of the sea in the distance makes me want to soak up the atmosphere. This is one of the only places in Arcadia Bay that continually feels lively. I've always been more inclined to the quieter parts of town, especially for photography. But there's still something so magical about places like this on the border between civilization and nature. I wonder if Chloe is searching for more places like this, bustling and shining with color and sound. Yeah, that's my kind of place, to be honest. She's definitely someone who's drawn to places and people that present life with vigor. Is she even looking for something, or is she just desperate to leave this place specifically? Well, it's not like I'm going to figure that out just by standing here thinking about it. The only person who can answer that question is Chloe. Right now, I need the time to make sure her gift is perfect. Luckily, I was able to piece together a good playlist for Chloe before I left the dorm. Good in my opinion, anyway. All I needed was to pick up from the shops was a protective cover. I think I managed to strike a fine balance between I rock hard and feel nothing but rage against the machine and punks have feelings too. I was also able to get some passable doodles drawn on the disc before I caught the bus. I'm no Picasso, but I think Chloe will be able to make out some butterflies, a skull and crossbones, our faces. I hope she'll like it. Just as I've held it up a little to inspect it against sunlight, I hear a shout from behind me. Max! I turn, quickly hiding both hands behind my back to see Chloe a few yards away, climbing out of her truck and beaming. Hey! I wave with one hand and I try my best to be subtle, slipping her gift back into my bag as she starts ambling over in my direction. I barely have time to look back up again before Chloe's right in front of me, wrapping her arms around my waist, lifting me nearly an inch off the ground. God, are you a sight for sore eyes? Put me down! She does, her hands still settled on my hips as she leans back to look at me, grinning at my half-hearted scowl. Don't pretend you're not happy to see me. Of course, I'm happy to see you. That only makes her look more smug. So what's the damage? Chloe shrugs. Well, I think 6 years were added to Rachel's life. She told me to say hi, by the way. I have to say hi back later. She's counting on it. Chloe lets go of me and starts moving towards the edge of the wooden slats beneath us. She gestures for me to follow her, and I hurry to match pace with her again. So why meet up here? Not that I don't appreciate the romantic atmosphere. Let's ask her. Romantic? The more she sort of flirts with me, the harder it is to react to it. Even harder to understand what she means by it. She looks back at me, and for a second something uncertain flashes across her face. Then she chuckles and looks away again. Chill, Max. I know how you roll. Dinner and a movie, right? I'm not even sure if that's how I roll. I'm not sure Chloe does either, and that's even less comforting. Oh, did I pick the wrong option? I should just chose the obvious one. Another time maybe. Anyway, I actually needed to come here to pick up a few things. Chloe's eyes light up. She turns to face me. Back and elbows balancing against the fence that separates sidewalk and sand. Like what? Like new film and she looks so eager. As usual, she's seen right through me. Still, it could be fun to tease her a little longer. And more color pencils and she's still grinning, but now she's starting to look a little unsure. I decide to cut her some slack. And something for you. She brightens, springing up straight again. I can't help but grin back, my hands coming up to wrap around my back strap. Score! I knew it! Subtle as sledgehammer, Max. When she comes up to me, all the way in my space and eyes roving around me curiously, it's hard to stand my ground. I have to tilt my head back a little to look her in the eyes. So where is it? You sure you want it right now? Yes! Give! One of her hands shakes underneath my arm towards my back. I shiver involuntarily as it brushes against my waist. Blah. Then smack it away, shoving the bag farther behind my back. Grabby. Guilty as charged. Come on, Max, show me the money. I roll my eyes, but she just beams insistently at me. I reach back into my bag and withdraw it carefully. Okay, but it's your fault that there's no element of surprise. Aw, that's no fun. Chloe takes the disc cover from me and flips it open curiously. For a second, her eyes just skitter around the doodles, then she lights up. Dude! I shift from foot to foot, suddenly shy at her delight. I know the drawings are crappy, but the music, it's mostly stuff you like. I promise, and... This is great! I didn't even think about music. Now it's gonna be a real road trip. What's the point of even going anywhere if you can't jam out on the way? Yep, so true. I knew being able to trash would still be high on Chloe's priority list. I smile. Well, it's not our right, girl, wild child. I put some of my tracks there too. There's no way out of the hipster escape. You did? When I meet her gaze, I fully expect her to be teasing, locked and loaded with an arsenal of jibes against my musical taste. But actually her eyes are super warm. It catches me off guard. That's awesome. Thanks, Max. So sweet. Just to make sure you're thinking of us little people. Just to make sure you're thinking of us little people from time to time. She bristles a little at that, tucking her jacket firmer over her shoulders for a moment. I lose eye contact with her. Are you seriously worried about that? As if I could ever forget. As if that isn't the biggest thing to worry about when you find out your best friend is leaving for an indeterminate amount of time, especially when yours truly is guilty of exactly that. Still, I try to keep my tone light, coming to stand beside her, lean back on the fence some. Well, you never know. I heard there's a lot of wool out there, Chloe. It's easy to get distracted. Distracted from what? I look at her, confused, and the look on her face startles me. It looks like she's really deep in thought, like she's trying to make a decision. Whatever the decision is, she seems to settle on it, and looks back at me again. Her eyes are really determined, kind of intense. My mouth goes dry. I feel myself stand up a little straighter. Listen, Max, I wanted... She hesitates, just for a moment, and in the space of that 1 second her phone beeps. Stop with these interruptions. It's not a loud sound, but both of us jump. We glance at each other and I giggle as she huffs and reaches for her pocket. My heart is beating way too fast. It's Joyce. She wants me home early tonight. So we can make dinner together or something. I barely given any thought of how Joyce must be taking this. Now there's a pang in my chest. You should go. But we'll have tomorrow and Friday to hang out and work on the project. Besides, it's your mom. Chloe chews on her lip for a moment, then she looks up at me, suddenly bright-eyed again. Come back to my place. What? She grins at me, bottom lip caught between her teeth. Come on, it'll be great. And it'll make Joyce happy. You know, just like old times. Cooking dinner together, blanket forts, pillow fights. It's a Wednesday, I have class tomorrow, and we're definitely going to need to crack down and take the contest photo too. This is really no time to be staging impromptu sleepovers. But Chloe's still beaming at me, insistent and almost coquettish, her eyebrows raised, one hand on her hip. If I say okay and we get it later, there's no one to blame but myself. Okay, but we can't stay up too late. It's like Chloe's whole body just illuminates. She straightens up and claps her hands together like a kid, her grin stretching wide across her cheeks. It's okay that Chloe's always acting like a kid or a puppy or something. It's just her aesthetic. It's just how she is. It's just her personality. That's why it's always exciting to be around Chloe. Yes! And without much more ado, she grabs my hand and starts dragging me back towards the truck. This is gonna be hella awesome, Max. Joyce will definitely bring her cooking skills if you're here. She only cares about the food. I should definitely be feeling some regret or decision about this poor choice of time management, just like how I should have felt self-control a few seconds ago. But Chloe's hand is really warm in mine. I'm so full I think I might never eat again. Chloe was right and Joyce was excited to see me, probably because it meant another helping hand in the kitchen. The two of us ended up doing most of the work, which is likely the way Chloe planned it. Still, we made so much and ate so much that I don't think I'm gonna be able to move again for another couple hours. Chloe and I are on her bedroom floor now, sprawled underneath an admittedly very half-hearted blanket fort made up of all the pillows we could find and a blanket propped up by Chloe's bedpost and her lamp. My god, it's so nostalgic to be spending time with your best friend like that. This is definitely a fire hazard. Just like me. She's lying on her back, arms folded under her head, and I'm on my elbows leaning back. We've drawn our knees up to conserve space, but our legs are still bracketed around each other. I'm exhausted. It's only what, 7-ish? That's not a bad thing though. Maybe we'll get to bed at a reasonable hour after all. Chloe groans, shifting a little to spread her arms out wide. Reasonable hour? Oh right, because of the contest. Have you started coming up with any game plan yet? I tip my head back. Chloe doesn't pay a lot of attention in photography class, but I know she'll do her best with whatever I ask of her. The contest is a lot of pressure on its own, but having Chloe's goodwill resting blindly on me is heavy too. Sort of. The lighthouse should be a good place for this specific shot, because it's you and me, right? And we have so many memories there. Chloe nods a little bit, her bare feet tap against my ankle. What's going on? What's going to be hard is working with the wide shots. Everything at the lighthouse is so big, it's going to be hard to capture it all. Still, I think it'll work out. I mean, if you're the subject, I think. There's a loud creak on the floorboards underneath us, and Chloe comes up onto her arms in a matter of seconds, eyes wide and wincing as her wrists crack. If I'm the subject? Her surprise startles me too, and I nearly lose my balance, upsetting the blanket slightly and hitting my elbows a little too hard against the floor. I thought Chloe already assumed she would be the subject, but in retrospect, I guess the both of us were too distracted to actually talk about it. I turn a little red, kind of careless, Max. Yeah, I thought, but I didn't ask, sorry, so if you don't want to, it's totally... No, I mean, I'll do it, She glances away, and it takes me a second to realize she looks a little shy, all of a sudden. It's such an unfamiliar expression on her that it takes me a second to recognize it. If you wanted a model, you should have asked Rachel. Oh no. No. But I ask you. She just snorts, but she's still not meeting my eyes. I straighten my arms, push myself all the way up to look at her better. Rachel does amazing shots, of course, but the theme was bonds between people, right? That finally gets her to glance back at me, but her expression is unreadable. She's still not saying anything, so I go on. The feeling behind the photo is what's really going to count, and if it's you and me, then... I falter, because if it's her and me, then what exactly? I don't have the words to describe the bond between me and Chloe. All I know is that it's strong. She watches my face for a couple of seconds, eyes flickering. I almost cringe, thinking I've messed up. Then she grins and lies back down again, hands on her stomach. Yeah, fuck yeah, we're gonna kill it. I think that covers the topic. Besides, photography is something that happens in the moment. It's not something you can plan out in advance. Yep, that's quite true. It's kind of romantic that way. I look at Chloe again, but she's still looking up, away from me. I wish I knew what she was thinking about. Chloe and I can read each other so well, but there are still some moments where I can't get in her head. The silence is broken a little by the sound of Joyce passing underneath the stairs, singing softly to herself. Chloe's fingers curls up. So, you've already talked to Joyce about you going? Chloe glances down at me in surprise, then grimaces and looks back up at the ceiling. I knew it would be an uncomfortable subject, but I'm hoping for the best. Yeah, I mean, it didn't exactly go smooth. She cried. Max, it was fucking brutal. I hummed sympathetically. Mom tears are absolutely the worst. Yeah, oh my god. Dad tears are even worse. My dad never cries, and seeing somebody you are not used to seeing cry is actually the worst. But in the end, like, she understood. She wants me to be happy, kinda like what you said yesterday. She said she was the same when she was young too. Her and my dad. She said with the gene pool I had, she shouldn't have expected anything less than a free spirit. That's kind of interesting thinking. Like a bird. BLUEJAY. I can't think of a better way to describe Chloe. Joyce may have come down to roost, but the prize women were meant for flight. Chloe grins lazily up at me. Bird of prey. Then her grin falters, and she comes up on her elbows again. What about you? Me? Yeah, are you a bird, Max? Her voice is light, teasing, but there's a serious sort of look in her face I can't quite decipher. Unsure, I just chuckle, lean back and close my own eyes. Sure. There's a sudden tug at my foot. I almost come up unseated. I prop myself back up on my forearms and look back up at Chloe in surprise. Her fingers still wrapped around my bare ankle, and there's a searching, almost severe look in her eyes. I'm serious. Seriously asking if I'm a bird? Max. What's the right answer? Sure. We can be subtle. We could ask. I'm not gonna go first option, I think. That doesn't sound nice to her. Maybe she wants me to be a bird. Do we just... Why am I thinking so hard? I feel like I should really be careful. I feel like I can get like a different ending or something if we don't click or something. I feel like if I ask her why do you ask, she won't really tell me. That's why I think Chloe, what kind of person Chloe is, she's kind of evasive, so... I could be, I think. One of her eyebrows raised, and her tongue brushes past the knob of my ankle. I try really hard not to shiver this time, but she grins anyway. I kind of feel like she's testing me somehow. That's how I felt when I was trying to choose the answer. Well, I don't know if I'm a bird, but I like to be one. Really free, getting to see so much of the world, going wherever it's warm, that's nice, and you know, that bird's eye view. When I glance up from her hand around my foot, she's staring at me. Her expression is curious, but she looks pleased, a smile tugging on the corners of her mouth, and I feel like I passed. Phew! Well, I think you could be one. She lets go of me, and comes up to sit a little straighter, both of us curled forward towards each other. Thanks, Chloe. That means a lot, coming from a professional peacock like you. Fuck you, I'd be a way cooler bird. Anyway, between you and my mom and Rachel, everyone who actually matters knows now. Well, that's good, right? No loose ends? She looks away from me again, lips curling a little. I hate putting it like that. Something's definitely up with her. I'm not sure if it's something I'm supposed to ask after or leave alone. But Chloe knows I'm nosy, so I think she expects it when I push myself forward on my hands towards her. Well, you should just ask her if she wants to talk about it. Yeah. Are you feeling okay? She glances at me, surprised, then away again. I'm fine. Nervous? That gets her to look back again, and for a minute I think I've misstepped, but then she gives an airy, disbelieving chuckle. Kinda. I nod, trying for a sympathetic and knowing expression, but I must screw it up because she immediately shakes her head. It's not what you're thinking. I'm not nervous about like driving or where I'm gonna go or whatever. It's just... Her mouth keeps moving for a moment after her voice trails off, and it's unsettling. I don't think I've ever seen Chloe wordless before. Her lack of brain-to-mouth filter is worrying sometimes, but at least it's consistent. This time I have to lean to the left to catch her eyes again, and she meets them, a little wary. Then tell me what I should think. Chloe, I'm not mad at you. You know that, right? I just want to know what's going on with you. I want to get it, like you said yesterday. It's not like you owe me explanations or anything, but you know you can still tell me anything, right? And I'll listen. I want to be there for you. It startles me when she leans forward, not breaking eye contact. For a second, our faces are very, very close. She then crosses her arms around my knees and rests her chin there, looking up. You really are here. Her calves are pressing in around mine now, arms heavy where they are draped over my kneecaps, and I swallow. She's grinning up at me, cat-like and intrigued. Come, I was being serious. I curse myself for stuttering, but Chloe doesn't seem to notice, just pushes herself off my knees again. I'm being serious too. Max, it's just cool that you're here. It's cool that we can still hang out, and that you're making this time for me. And I'm being a dumbass. I'm being a dumbass. Being a dumb... But she just laughs, stretching her arms over her head and then flipping up the edge of the blanket beside her. Chill. Anyway, I'm in a movie mood. It'll help us digest. You got any suggestions? Oh my god. Final Fantasy. No. Donnie Darko. What about Donnie Darko? Chloe thinks about it for a second, then nods agreeably. Imagine if she denied. Oh, I should have gone and just seen what she says about it. Okay, but you can't complain when it pisses me off. That movie makes no fucking sense. Pisses you off? You've watched it more than I have. Sure, whatever you say, Jake Gyllenhaal. It's because of Jake Gyllenhaal that she's actually watching it. Does it make you Gretchen? Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. She was cute in that movie. She tucks me up by hand and as we make our way out from the crumbling fort, then slides an arm around my shoulders, easy as that, easy as anything. She's still really warm. I don't know if it's because of the blanket fort or because of me, or because of her, but it's nice to lean into anyway.